the contentious subsidy removal at June of this year. And the Minister for Finance, Zainab Ahmed, has rolled out certain techniques they think we need to put in place before subsidy is removed. So we want to have a look at their proposal. How effective do you think this is going to be in managing what is to follow the removal of subsidy, especially now follow word for word the Industry Act? Then the consequence that would most likely follow the subsidy removal will be significantly minimized. Also, they've asked that we subsidize public transportation, food. They've also said something like increasing the wages of public officials, and that is one way to help manage the what will follow the removal of subsidy. They're also talking about short-term, medium-term, and long-term steps that we need to take. They're telling us that we should accelerate efforts, upscale domestic refining capacity, improve foreign investment, encourage private investors to come and invest in the country. They're also saying that we should make sure that we take care of those in the informal sector, well, retail services, take care of them, create an enabling environment for business, and a list of other things. So that's just the primary technique they think that we need to employ. And also, of course, fixing our moribund refineries. So that is a list of techniques or steps that have been advised by the LCCI and I think the NFIU before subsidy removal is in full swing June of this year. So we're also going to talk about our rising debt profile. Fuhad, 42 trillion naira is our public debt, over 42 trillion naira. The papers are also reporting that under this administration, in 8 years, our loans from the Chinese has gone up 209%. And unfortunately, these monies were borrowed to take care of certain projects, the railway, transportation, hoping that the income we get from that will be used to repay the loan. But unfortunately, we are using this to pay salaries and things that definitely will not bring any revenue to the country. So first things first, what do we need to do to improve our internally generated revenue? What do we need to do to ensure accountability? How are these monies being spent? How much revenue are we actually getting at the end of the day? Also, some of the financial policies that we have put in place, how effective have they been in ensuring that we maximize the loans that we have collected, and what can we do generally to minimize our rising debt profile? So those are the two focal points. Fuhad, let's hear what you have to say.
Well, interestingly, the two focal points are intertwined.
Yes.
Because again, it's still about revenue, it's still about management of public funds, and then how to ensure that we are self-sufficient in terms of being able to really use our own money to do our own thing instead of relying on loans and all of that. For me, I think the first thing will be for us to clean the mess in the oil sector, because that's a short-term solution. About 80% or more than 80% of our revenue still comes from that sector. So we need accountability at that level. Again, somehow, I think the Topolo arrangement is working as far as oil theft is concerned. How sustainable that is, I don't know, because we have to do 4 billion every month to achieve that, So again, I think we need to do more in the area of, oil theft. We need to be able to account for the crude that is taken out of this country. It's very, very important. The other one will be that we need to look at the subsidy regime. Yes, somehow we all agree that subsidy has to go. I'm not saying subsidy is bad. I've never said it's bad. But the management of subsidy in Nigeria has made it bad. So it has to go. But again, we're looking at the end result. If subsidy has to go without us fixing our refineries, Nigerians are going to suffer. People will tell you, the reality is that subsidy was removed for kerosene. Look at how much a liter of kerosene is now. Look at how much a liter of diesel is now. So if it happens to fuel, to petrol, and that affects everybody, then you can imagine the pain we're going to be putting on Nigerians, So it's important that we look at that area too, because again, having to spend over 7 trillion every year on subsidy does not make sense, especially when we are not sure it is going into the right pockets. People have created different means in the importation of oil sector to get this money and all of that. So we need to fix that. We need to quickly fix that. And in fixing it means we have to remove subsidy. I'm not sure we're going to be able to fix our refineries within this short period. So that's a long-term thing. We have 20% stake in Dangote refinery. I'm not sure that's enough to take care of our local needs. So we now have to look at importation of fuel now. Again, my own suggestion, maybe people who have other suggestions, is that, look, we need to now open it up. Open it up, give licenses to people. You can't regulate that sector again by saying, NNPC should be the sole importer. If, look, I have the capacity to create a small depot and just bring in maybe 1 million liters every year, every month, give licenses to Nigerians to go get fuel from anywhere in the world. So when you create that competition, we're going to see some level of stability, although Forex will still have an impact, but
Definitely.
opening it up will create some level of, because again, competition will bring stability. But you can't monopolize a sector when you are still importing. Why do you have to monopolize? Why is NNPC the only sole importer? Let everybody import. Or look, Lagos State can decide to begin to import fuel for Lagosians. So open it up. Let's just open it up until when we are able to fix our refineries and then take care of our local needs. Again, in terms of revenue generation, we have to look at other sectors. I think this is the time for government officials, people coming in, to roll their sleeves and work hard. Relying on Abuja every month, for revenue does not make sense. Oil can't take care of the needs of Nigeria alone. We need to look at agriculture. We need to look at the extractive industries. We need to look at different things. Tourism is also there, but again, that goes into security and all of that.
Exactly.
So a lot of work for people that are going to take over the mantle of leadership May 29 this year. But it's doable. We can do it if we have people who are dedicated, selfless, and determined to make it happen.
Well, thank you very much, Fuhad, for your perspective on these matters. We're going to open the phone lines now, 0913-6000-410. That's 0913-6000-410. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, you can do so via the WhatsApp number 0913-6000-430. Also, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. You can use the chat option and leave your contributions. Fuhad, you're going to say
just
something.
1 minute. Again,
Yes.
you can't remove subsidy on fuel because it has become fraudulent, and then you create subsidy in another sector. So what is going to happen again with that one?
Well, it's not like they'll give them the money. They'll just pay less for
They're
transportation,
not giving us
pay less for food.
the money on
I know,
fuel is
right?
still subsidy. So if you create subsidy on transportation, the same public officials will still steal money from that one. So let's just I think we should just leave the idea of creating subsidy in another way. Let's just subsidy must go.
How about the salary increase? I know that there's the question of, does this affect those in the private sector, but how about the salary increase?
At least it will help. It will help. Yeah.
For those in the public
sector, yeah.
All right then, 0913-6000-410. Let's take our first call for this morning. Hello. You're live. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Babalola.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Your name, please.
My name is Alhaji Suba.
Welcome, Alhaji Subar.
Thank you very much. Fawad, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Yes, on issue of subsidy. You see, like we said, Nigeria has been cheated all along with this issue of subsidy. You see, Fawad, I want to recap your memory. When Buhari, shifted, the petroleum price from 80 something naira to 145. What did they tell us that time?
The subsidy has gone.
They said they want to remove subsidy. That is the language. So, but by and large, he didn't do it. But the most painful issue is again, you see, that's why the money being borrowed was not utilized in the right direction. That's another key word. I mentioned that the money borrowed was used on trade. What relevance? He said he's going to use. He's going to give Nigeria, when we quantify it with a refinery. But Muhammadu Buhari, the president Muhammadu Buhari, should have utilized all the money borrowed for resuscitating our refinery. So it's a key word. You understand? And he failed to do that. But easy, forward never, backward never. You see, we are going to endure it. What I'm advising the coming government and the government is that they should focus seriously. Let them call the ex-party, the Italian that they build our refinery. Let them come back within 6 months. Give them a mandate. They're going to resuscitate that refinery. That is our hope. And Nigeria will enjoy it. Let them give us an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, that within 6 months, all our refinery will come to play. We will enjoy it. Enough is enough for this stealing of our resources. That's the way I look at it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Fuad, the rail service, the defense was, we have a logistics problem in the country, that rail is easier to move goods, from different parts. The interconnection will be easier, and if you cut down travel time, it would help business owners to make more profit. It's about no logic there.
It's about priorities. I think we should have concentrated more on fixing our refineries.
Right, then.
I'm not saying the rails are bad, but again, the rails are being bombed.
Prioritization
is important. We should have, I think, concentrated on our refinery.
Let's take this phone call. Hello.
Mr. How are you? Mr. Babalola, good morning. I'm Fuhad. How are you doing?
Good morning,
sir. Mr. Babalola, is it? Good morning.
Peter Monzo is my name from Shogulu.
Welcome.
Now, Mr. Fuhad, your suggestion is very interesting. who do we give such solution? You see, to our politicians in Nigeria that are running our economy. In the first place, I don't want to see this government as a government that came for the downtrodden to the Nigerian populace. Mr. Fuhad, how much is a naira to dollar? How many naira to dollar now? And then if a fuel, a liter will go for 700, 1,000. And then how much are Nigerians earning per month? And we were told that at the moment we are the poverty capital of the world. I mean the downtrodden, not the elite. And then we are told that about 90-something million Nigerians have been pushed under poverty line. So when they come with this removal of subsidies, no electricity, for you to say, okay, let me even depend on electricity, let me to buy fuel. And then at the end of the day, nothing is working. I don't know, after poverty line, which line again remain that Nigeria will be pushed into? And after being the property capital of the world, which other one do we want to be pushed into? I don't understand. I also want, because for me, I don't have any suggestion for them. We get the suggestion, they make promises. Today, they are not talking about those promises again. We are expecting another incoming government to come. And I don't know, the government that is coming, I don't know politicians, I don't know in this government, and the elongation of APC government, then we expect anything better.
Thank you, Mr.
I just want to advise Nigerians, please don't lose faith. Hold on to God, and then see how you can pray and stay alive, stay righteous, because one day God,
thank you so much. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, morning to you. Turn down the volume on your radio.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning for us.
Good morning, Mr. John.
Barika Patino.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Fuhad, thank you for your analysis. But we have discussed it on this radio. There is no amount of removal of subsidy or palliatives that will cushion the effect of the suffering Nigerians will go through. Are you with me? The subsidies should not be removed. Let them build our refinery. Like Alhaji Suban said, when petrol price was taken to from 85 to 145, he said the president has removed subsidy. See, as long as our importation is tied to forex, I think you understand what I'm saying. Even if they remove it now, if you jump up, immediately the dollars go up against the naira. That's not a simple analogy. Then about not putting the about this
revenue.
See, the politicians are not thinking out of. They are not thinking properly. I'm sorry to use this language. See, we have bitumen in Ondo, second to Canada, the largest. It's a gold mine. We look at Obafemi Awolowo in the days of the Western states. He created a investment group of companies where we have butter, where we have vegetable oils of Nigeria, Ojota, where we have the Pemberton Wema Bank.
Even the cocoa in the southwest.
The cocoa in the southwest. I witnessed all this. I'm 60 above. What are we talking about? Can't they replicate it? So, good morning, Gary.
Thank you so much. Let me steal a minute out of the contribution time of listeners. I apologize.
Right.
Fuhad. Don't you think that resource control, in a way, plays into this? You
It's
know,
also
this idea
yeah.
of the land belongs to you in the States, but the content on that the land belongs to the center. Don't you think this is what is really preventing us from tapping into the
we need to talk
that we
about
have?
resource control too. Very important. I agree with you.
I don't know how, because there's really not much that they can do.
And that's the reason why everybody just folds their arms and wait for the end of the month to go to Abuja, get their resources, and that's it. Nobody thinks about anything again. So I agree. We need to talk about resource control.
We'll go back to taking phone calls now. Hello, good morning to you. The volume on your radio. You're live. Hello.
Good morning to you, Mainland FM. My name is Abiodun Bakari.
Welcome, Abiodun. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bakari.
Good morning, Fuhad.
Morning, sir.
From where I come from, in Abeokuta, there's a proverb that says, let me just say it in English. A woman is said to be ugly. And then you say, she's ugly because the rain beat her. It was because a very heavy rain beat her. That's why she became ugly. Can rain beat somebody and then change the beauty of a person? Now, the issue, Mr. Fuhad, I'm happy you have changed your position. Your earlier position, which you were very stressful on, was that you must repair refineries before you remove subsidy. But I thought this morning that I listened that you have balanced your opinion. This leadership, they are not ready to put our refineries into good shape. Let's accept that. Forget the qualification. forget the expectation. It's not going to happen because it's not going to pay them. It's not their agenda. Now, if they don't intend to repair our refinery, what is the option left? Get this subsidy off so that people will not be using it as a means of enriching themselves. Now, you said, Mr. Fuhad, you said we are going to suffer the more once subsidy is removed. Who told you that Nigerians are not suffering already? Nigerians are in the highest degree of suffering. So there's no other suffering that can be more than this. You have a president that is a minister of petroleum and is not giving any account to anybody. What is more suffering than that? So my position is that let the subsidy be removed. Let us face what we got to face as a nation. Maybe when the subsidy is removed finally and a liter is sold for 900 naira, maybe Nigerians will come to their senses. You cannot continue to shy away from the reality of things. The reality is that the economy is bad, there is no employment, things are extremely bad economically speaking. So hiding under fuel subsidy as a means of trying to manage your life is not the best.
Thank you.
We have to face the reality. Get subsidy out immediately.
Thank you for your contribution. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hey. Sage, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Your name, please.
My name is Timothy.
All right. Welcome, Timothy.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You can see that we're in a state of dilemma. That our government always puts their failure to us for us to suffer. See, if this government have done the right thing since 8 years ago, by now nobody will be talking about fuel subsidy. This thing is supposed to be an adage now that we used to pay fuel subsidy. Okay, who are those earning this fuel subsidy? Who are those benefiting from this fuel subsidy? Government knows them. And I want to tell you this thing. I was in Badagry day before yesterday. If you go to Badagry around 10 o'clock, you will see our trucks, our tankers
Going out.
of. I'm telling you.
And we are paying subsidy on that too.
God bless you. See, there is darkness and cloud covering this subsidy of a thing in Nigeria that the government is benefiting from. They are saying that they are paying subsidy. Who are they paying it for? Can anything happen in the NNPC that government is not aware? Do you see how they revise the NNPC this thing that without doing the necessary thing? See, let me tell you, the cabal in government will not let this thing work. They are the one. Can any see? They are talking about oil theft. Can any ship come to our shore without government agency, government security? Don't do. See, I'm very paid this morning that Nigerians are going to suffer more. All of us are going to suffer for this fuel subsidy removal. You can imagine how life will be that a liter of fuel will be bought 750 naira.
Thank you.
That
will help us.
Thank you so much.
Because I don't understand.
Thank you. God help us all. Let's pause a little bit on phone calls. Let's see if we can take a few messages that have come through WhatsApp. Awolo Christopher from Shogunle says, let the subsidy be removed once and for all. No matter how much the fuel sells, Nigerians will adjust. Nothing is new to Nigerians. Be that as it may, a normal society should have put the right things in place, such as fixing the local refinery and totally unbundling in a transparent way the industry before the removal of the subsidy. Unless we have a government of integrity, nothing positive will happen, which is quite unfortunate. Christopher, thank you very much for your message. There's another one here that says debts everywhere. That's debt BC. That's what I mean. Okay. Everywhere with that. So you don't think I'm talking about debt without commensurate measures. We were told that they were coming to block loopholes, that the ruling party was coming to block loopholes. Today, our eyes don't open, such that China and some organizations may take over some of our national assets because we cannot pay these debts. We don't know that for a fact. As much as all eyes are on oil alone, where all the solid minerals in the north are either secretly mined and exported by some group, cabals, or not touched at all. Nigeria is yet to have leaders, what we have are rulers. Is it fair, Mr. Fuhad, for Southeast and South-South to be part of repayment of these loans for rail lines when they were denied the same facility by the federal government? Subsidy is a scam, and this government has been enjoying it, even though they've spoken about it, against it. Worst of all is that upon the excess borrowing, we are still without a functional refinery. With the Mr. President as the petroleum minister, let's not forget that there were 33 unknown subsidy collectors under this government. They don't show us Pepe. Where's the Asharibu? Chijoke sends this message. There's a lot of things in this message that I'm so tempted to talk about, but then I will not. Let's move on. Good morning, it's Joshua from Oregon. The issue is we've not been sincere with ourselves in this country. We allow politics to take over everything we do in this country, not minding its effect on the masses. During the Jonathan administration, how much was the price of petrol? Yet you see protests everywhere in the world. But now, how much is petrol? Yet everyone is quiet. I doubt that. My take is they shouldn't remove subsidy without telling us how much we can buy petrol, because it is still us that would suffer and not the politicians who told us that the money for subsidy will be used for our benefit.
I don't even believe that.
About the money issue, we are not ready. We will continue to see, or will it continue? There is gold in Zamfara. I mean, let's trust that when they remove the subsidy, they will channel it. We will channel it into, I don't know, maybe.
You can't, for me, no, I can't trust
maybe.
them to do that.
I mean, I'm just saying this is a very long read, but I'll try. Good morning, Fuhad and Sage. This is Godwin from Ilasa. Sage, my heart bleeds when I look at the happenings in the country. How on earth can we be looking at fuel subsidy removal without fixing our refinery? These politicians, I suspect, are inflicting poverty as a weakening tool. Just imagine at the point they're planning to remove the subsidy, they've started speaking of subsidizing transport, which will surely be a conduit pipe for corruption.
Same thing happens there, yeah.
On our debt profile, this government is just wasting our resources and time. Kano to Maradi is a terrain I know very well. How should our government build a rail on a route where people using the train cannot pay 200 naira, while ignoring a route which will be able to pay 10,000 for same distance?
There have been questions really on the Maradi train thing.
Sage, Finland had election this weekend and their president lost to opposition. And as at this morning, she has congratulated the incoming opposition. Just compare it with the amount of money wasted on this charade of an election and the amount to be wasted in the tribunal and court processes. I am bettered. Thank you very much for your message, Godwin. We're going to go back to taking phone calls now. 0913 6000 410. That is the studio line. WhatsApp is 0913 6000 430. Also, YouTube, Facebook, we're streaming live. Leave your messages on there. I'll be sure to read them live on air. Hello. The volume on your radio. Good morning.
My name is Larry.
Please, you might have to call us back. The connection is really, really terrible. Please call us back if you can. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. This is Angelina.
Okay, Angelina, do you mind speaking up? We're really straining to hear you.
Okay, my sister, we want you to speak up.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
I never talk, so I will speak up like that.
No vex.
Okay, for advance.
Morning, sir.
They are talking about fuel subsidy removal. Me, I don't know how we even got here. But what I know is that if you are going to remove subsidy, what are you going to replace it with? What are they going to replace the fuel subsidy with if they want to remove fuel subsidy? At the end of the day, the money that will come out from that subsidy, what are they going to? Is it going to be accountable? That's our problem. The same people will still collect this money they are claiming to be fuel subsidy and still finish it. So, if left to me, the fuel subsidy should continue to remain there. If they remove the fuel subsidy, we will not even see the impact. We will not see anything. The money will still go back to the same people we are talking about now. Is it not they are there replacing themselves? If this one go, another worse one will still come. That's what's happening. So I feel that they should not tamper with that fuel subsidy. It should remain there. That's what the poor man, the poor people are saying. That's the only thing we are gaining from them. Because if they remove it now, Mr. Fuhad, are you hearing me?
I'm with you.
If they remove this fuel subsidy as I'm talking to you now, you will not see the impact. Everything will go up.
They say they will
still carry the money and put it in their own pocket.
They say they will subsidize transportation.
Which transportation are they subsidizing? They will buy bus and give for a few people.
Some people want to fly.
Will you subsidize air transport? They are not subsidizing anything. The money will still go back to the same people. Let them leave the fuel subsidy there, I beg.
Thank you.
That's my own take. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, his recommendation, they are still recommending. The things SSC, LCCI and the NFI, they are recommending that maybe you can subsidize. All I hear is fear and distrust, honestly.
Do you know what we call agenda setting? When statements like this begin to come up, It's already a policy somewhere waiting to be implemented. I'm
Fuhad,
sure you know.
To be honest, I think all I hear really is fear and distrust.
And would you blame Nigerians?
That's all I hear.
No, why are you going to blame Nigerians?
The majority, although there are a few who say leave the subsidy, but the majority say remove the subsidy. But then, how do we know that this removal, you will channel it to the right places? That is the only fear and concern. And I don't know what can be done to re-establish the trust of the people in the government. I cannot recommend anything, so I'll just move on. Hello, good morning to you. The volume on your radio, please. There's a feedback. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, Fuad, good morning. This is Paul from Egbeda.
Good morning,
Welcome.
Yeah, how was your night?
Very good.
Yeah, Fuad, you see, it will be very difficult to win the heart of Nigerians again by the elites, by the politicians, by those who have found themselves in the corridors of power. You see, let me refer to what happened in this just last election. It's why trust is lost. When you told us that this election will be transmitted immediately for all eyes to see, and at the end of the day, did not fulfill that promise. Do you think that Nigerians will forever again trust any INEC official they will refer to you what happened in 2023? So the trust is not the fault of Nigerians. It's the fault of those who are leading us. They have not been truthful to us. They have not, hold their word as a bond. They have not been able to convince Nigerians that they are for us. Rather, they are proving to us that they are for themselves. The subsidy removal, like what you said, is already a policy that is waiting for implementation. Let me ask a question. What happened to kerosene? The subsidy was removed. The money, billions of naira gotten from kerosene. What happened to that money?
And diesel.
Do you know that a liter of kerosene is almost 1,000 naira? A liter of kerosene. And that is what the rural dwellers are using for their everyday life. So they have not given us account of what happened to the subsidy of kerosene removal.
And diesel.
How about the diesel? How about the diesel? How increase? They are only talking of PMS. Other ones, they have removed the subsidy. What happened to the money, the revenue generated from this removal? So all these things are stories. It will go back to their pocket. We don't have trust because our leaders have never proven to be trusted.
Thank you so much. Thank you. They also removed subsidy on electricity, by the way, silently. She said the Minister for Finance said it's because they were avoiding an outburst by
what
the
has
people.
happened
That's
to what
why
they
they
saved from
removed
that?
the subsidy on electricity.
So
And you can tell electricity is quite expensive
very
now.
expensive,
So,
yeah.
I mean, we could ask the question as
So
well.
the money we saved from that, what have we done with it?
Maybe we should call Zina Ahmed. If we call her, she should come and tell us.
She's not ready. She's leaving, mind you.
Yeah, let's take more phone calls. Hello.
Hello, Seth.
Good morning.
Morning, and that's what
Morning, sir.
this is from my Godo.
Welcome, Ifoma. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. My own contribution, if those people, this Buhari regime that is rounding up in less than a month now, most of the people that work against the subsidy removal, in the days of Jonathan, they should go ahead and say, what is their plan for Nigeria? One of the governors, which Nigeria will not forget, easily the governor of Kaduna, was the major head among the people. Say Jonathan must not remove the fuel subsidy. And if for a version that Jonathan have removed it by then, Nigeria will not find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves. With all the promises that Buhari will put the refinery in order, up till now, single one is not yet put in order. Is it the incoming government that will not win properly that will not fix the refinery? I don't think so. But we will get there until we have the credible leader, not the people who have Nigeria in their pocket, but the people who have the people, a leader that have people in the back of their mind, who can give us a successful leadership. Now, the election, nothing to write about it. And we want to do census. Who are we counting? We don't need of wasting money. We just need a leader that will make use the resources we have. And everybody in the land will be more comfortable.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you for your contribution. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Olakunle on the line from True today.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, Nigerians are about the easiest to please and the hardest to please. The truth of the matter remains that Nigerians want to continue enjoying subsidy, yet they want to stop it. It becomes paradoxical. Because we all agree that subsidy is a fraud, no doubt about it. And we have been running this thing since 1999. We all agree that what we are running presently, we did half-year budget of about 6 trillion. Taking that out of the revenue of Nigeria is absolutely crazy. It is something we need to kick out. The problem then becomes, what will you do to manage the issues that come out of it? Well, we also agree that the biggest disposable income spent is on transportation and feeding. How does government intend to manage that? That is what we should be discussing. That subsidy must go or must not go should not be an issue. Subsidy must go. Because what we are doing in essence is that we are feeding the rich at the expense of the poor. Yet the little that the poor get makes them happy, not knowing that the majority of the money that are meant to come to them are being filtered away by the rich.
All right.
The main issue stands. So people need to understand that subsidy is a fraud and it must go.
Olakunle, just a question. If we cannot manage subsidy on refund on petrol, because again, it's not that subsidy is a problem, it's just that we can't manage it. How are we sure we can manage subsidy on public transportation?
Well, the only thing I would answer is that we cannot manage subsidy on petrol. We should manage subsidy on production. It is easier to manage. If we truly still feel there's need for us to subsidize, we should manage that. And these things we talk about money, we are the ones. Our representatives are the same ones in the Federal House of Rep and Senate. They are the ones who pass the budget and all this spending. If they can open their eyes and not do right, then we will blame. For me, we are saying that as at now, refineries are almost going to be working.
Thank you, Olakunle.
60,000. Yeah.
Thank
60,000 is almost.
We really have to go. It's 2 minutes. All right, please. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Larry. I'm calling from Ikeja.
We did not catch your name.
Larry.
Okay.
From Ikeja.
All right.
Yes. My problem with us in Nigeria is that our journalists don't do their job. Because there should be somebody that will do a synopsis of removal of subsidy from the time of Babalola up till now. If my memory serves me well, when President Buhari came in, the first thing we did was to remove the subsidy. So that's the fact here now. Remove it from 87 naira.
Larry, we can actually barely hear you. We can
maybe
barely
you shift your position a bit.
Okay. Is it better now?
Okay, yes. And please speak directly into the speaker.
Is it better now?
Yeah,
Yes,
fantastic.
Okay. Now, President Buhari, when he came in, within 3 months, said there was going to be a removal of subsidy, and he removed it. NLC protested and everything, but the subsidy removal was effected. Now, how come we are back to this same subsidy?
Because we are still importing, Larry. We are still importing.
We are still importing. And at what exchange rate? So long as we are importing, we are still going to get back to this thing we are talking about. That's just the problem. And Fuhad,
yes,
your point is that they should deregulate and let everybody import. That was the situation when Jonathan was president. But these international oil companies made the run at the dollars we have. And they were collecting dollars at subsidized rates to import fuel. They were insisting that they didn't have foreign exchange. And they were bringing in fuel, but at a cost. So the NNPC, that was why there was a time there was shortage of dollars in the country, because they were using the dollars to import. That was why NNPC took over the importation.
So Larry, we are still back to we need to refine locally to solve this problem.
Exactly. If we don't, I think it is laziness on the part of our government.
Thank you very much.
It is easier for them to import than to
find a solution locally.
Thank you, Larry.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Let's go back to taking messages now. A very big good morning to you, presenters at Mainland FM. May God continue to give you more grace to pilot the affairs in the station. On subsidy removal, please, I want to ask where they are removing it to and what is coming to replace the subsidy. On the demolition of the hangars, that is not our focus for today. Thank you very much. Okay, you spoke about the debts. Let them borrow. We are keeping records for them. One way or the other, Monkey will go to the market and never return. Pastor Sunday from Magoro, I don't think you understand the implication of our rising debt profile. I don't think we should encourage them to keep borrowing. It's not a record I want to keep. I'm not interested in paying money I know borrow. Hello, good morning to you. Hello? Hello? Please turn down the volume on your radio. When you call, please turn down the volume on your radio. I'll just focus on messages for now. Good morning, Sage and Fuhad. For me, before subsidy goes, let the government and interested individuals put their money and make sure the refinery begins to work before they remove subsidy. Then let them start using subsidy to pay the debt they borrowed from organization and individuals. Nigeria cannot trust the people in the government again. Ayo from Mowe. This is like what would happen in an ideal situation, but I don't think any refinery can be made to work between now and June. It took how many years? I think 6 years for the Dangote refinery to function. I think it took about 6 years.
No, 6 years to build
6 years.
it.
So I don't think we can rehabilitate any refinery and make it functional between now and June.
But you know, you should be able to do that.
Okay, I like your optimism this morning. Hi, Mainland FM. My opinion is on the removal of subsidy. It should still be to empower modular refineries. Okay, let us encourage these small refineries. The agricultural sector, which Nigeria is known to be among the best in the world, is so devastated by terrorism and lack of funds. We have an abundance of mineral resource. Are we going to be sanctioned if we harvest all these minerals? We have a large labor force and yet no jobs to empower the needy for jobs. We have a lot of sea coast. Until now, our seaports are abysmal and not really functional. Lagos Port may be the only functional one. Till we reduce corruption to the least level, no matter the policy, it will fail, subsidy or no subsidy. Finally, let's continue to preach peace and abolish tribalism. Sean, thank you very much for your message.
So that people will understand why we are insisting about and talking about these things. Again, this is the story from Angola. I just read just a few paragraphs. You know, a surge in crude oil prices following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and this was a story from I think last year, is hurting many economies around the world. But high prices are helping Angola, the second largest producer in sub-Saharan Africa, pay off his Chinese debt.
What?
You know, so
what? See, this conversation, I had it one time with an analyst, and he said that, he said, sadly, but I'm not sorry, I'm quoting him. He says that Nigeria, with this Russia-Ukraine war,
we
and
should
he says
be
so
making
that
money.
we were supposed to be the richest. Like after the war, Nigeria should be swimming in wealth because we're producing crude oil. Because we can decide
Saudi
how much
Arabia,
we want
Angola,
to sell.
or other oil-producing countries are making serious money now.
Fuhad, when oil prices became $100 per barrel at that time, we made a lot of money. They told us that we made a lot of money. Then guess what? We used the
subsidy
money
collected
to make
everything. That's it.
Fuhad, I'm moving on. I want to be peaceful this morning.
All right.
So I'm moving on. The root, branch, and fruit of corruption permeating the country is due to bad leadership. Nigerians are trying so hard to change the narrative to have a trustworthy and sincere leadership. Darkness will not prevail. Michael from Ikeja. Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at another message here. We have one. Our politicians just talk and say it, but they don't do it. Subsidy removal will only bring pain and poverty to citizens. Tunde Jesuloba from Surulere. Thank you very much for your message. Let's take two more and just focus on phone calls for now. Good morning, sir and ma'am. This is what we get when things are not done at the right time because of political interest. If Nigerians had allowed Jonathan to remove the subsidy in 2012, maybe by now we would have adjusted. At least then, dollar-naira rate was still okay. A bag of rice was still about 8,000 and life was generally fair. They came up and said there's no subsidy, that it was a scam. The truth is that there's no best time to do away with subsidy. It's eating deep into our commonwealth. No amount of transport subsidy will alleviate the pain Nigerians will go through. Are you also going to subsidize purchasing of food in the market? Why is it so impossible to build or even start another refinery? If you don't finish it in the next year, then the next government takes over from there. One thing is sure, regardless of what they do, Nigerians Nigerians are survivors. The resilience, determination, doggedness will still help us sail through the difficult time. Let them remove the subsidy. It's so sad that these are the traits that Nigerians have had to adopt to live in a country that should be flowing with milk and honey. But anyways, good morning, Saheed and Fuhad. Removing fuel subsidy without functional refineries is pure criminal, and this will bring the country to a total state of anarchy. This issue is all about conspiracy against the people of the country by some unrepentant conquerors, and they want to set the country on fire and make the people live miserably. We have to do everything to make this country great, but our leaders are not ready to do the needful. Babalola from Alaba. So we'll go back to taking phone calls now. Thank you for all the messages so far. Hello.
Good morning.
Morning to you.
Yeah, Fuhad, good morning also.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Fuhad, please,
your name, sir.
Joe from Bariga anyway.
Okay, all right.
Fuhad, I think we're a little bit digressing somehow.
Okay.
We were expecting Mr. the big man of Bichualand to give us fuel. Can you help me to remember the name?
Dangote?
The big man in the Bichualand to give us fuel, the new refinery.
The Dangote refinery,
refinery.
We only have 20% stake there.
Then we have 20% stake.
Yes.
And why are we negotiating subsidy here and left and right? We cannot get a very. Let us tackle this issue. I want to hear that. Several times I have that question. Say, this Dangote fuel, is it God, which we cannot reach? Is it God?
No.
I
Okay.
don't understand.
Let me just explain. Now, it's a private business. That refinery is situated in a free trade zone, so it's not obliged to supply our local needs. That's why we had to go buy 20% stake, and we gave him about $2.something billion to do that. So that's all we have. It's a businessman, it's a private investment, and it's a free trade zone, so it's not obliged to supply our local needs. He needs to make money. That's it. So we can't rely on him.
Fuhad, I never understand what do you mean by free trade zone. What do you mean by that?
As a free trade zone.
That a fuel manufactured in our country, and they are telling me that is for international.
But
okay, why do we give him the license if it's meant for only international?
The refinery,
why do we give him the license?
The refinery does not belong to Nigeria. It's a private-owned refinery. That's why we bought 20%.
We are talking this, and I'm feeling very bad about it.
That's the truth.
But that's the reality.
Very bad about it. Why do you give him the license? And you are going to give him the local. We are going to give him. We will supply him. We are going to give him crude oil in the local currency. Are we going to give him in a foreign currency?
Well, again,
that's why it's a free trade zone. These things can be determined.
It's unfortunate. Yes, I'm with you.
Are we going to give him? Are we going to sell the crude to him in an international price? Or are we going to sell locally?
It depends
in
on
naira.
I don't work for the NMP, so I don't know.
It depends.
Let us expatiate these things. When we want to talk, and then we talk and talk and talk, we don't even know what we're talking.
But sorry, sir.
All of us are getting confused over this issue.
But sorry, sir. Don't you think this confusion would be needless if we had fixed our own refineries, the four that we have?
But it's impossible for we to fix our refinery.
Why is it not possible?
It's impossible now. Because they are write-off. Our refineries are write-off.
I feel your pain.
Unless you are saying for we to sell the refineries and then make moves to build even a very small refinery.
Thank you.
I understand the confusion and the pain from him, but again,
the confusion is too much. We don't know why. We are not talking the right thing at the right place.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Let's go ahead and
I want us to.
Let's take another phone call. Hello.
No, Babalola, please, I need to come in again because of this their main question.
Your name, please?
He's Bab.
Yes, I'm Fuhad.
Okay.
Yes. You see, the man that spoke now, she understand actually. Dangote, we keep on saying, Dangote refinery is a private refinery. The same thing happens to cement. How much are we buying cement? It's because the man is doing his own business. You understand? So Nigerians should remove his mind from there. You understand? So, you see, our core issue now, look, and I want to remind the man, as I'm talking today, our four refineries, they are producing below capacity. Not that they are dead. Workers are there. You see, that is what we are shouting. President Muhammad Buhari leave the priority, which is supposed to attend to. Attend to this our refinery. Workers are there, they are working. The refinery are not dead. Workers are working. So Nigerians should understand.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
If you remember, I was saying it, Vanessa, oil producing companies, because of them Nigeria, building fuel into this land. That if you give me the right to bring fuel, I can within 1 week bring enough fuel to Nigeria. That if they give fuel and about maybe 200 other people they have to bring fuel, there won't be any problem of fuel. That's the competition. These international companies, they are cartel, they are mafia, and the ignorance of this world, holding license, they don't want people to come and participate. And the only thing left is the table of this out. They are protecting themselves. They want to determine the price that these people are buying for. Because if they regulate, allow people freely to bring for. And internationally, when you study international freedom, the air producing companies, they don't bring for. They don't sell. They want to brokers. International brokers are the people. And if you don't call any of them, as long as you can say you have a bank guarantee for that your super tanker to bring the petroleum program, they bring it. So the destination where you want the sort of the discharge.
Thank you.
So they know what they are doing, and including the new refinery Dangote is good. They know what they are doing. They know that if this thing is deregulated, its entry price in Nigeria will be very high and handsome enough.
We don't have any more time to take contributions. I think from everything we've gathered, people don't think that there's no amount of palliative, there's really no amount of anything that the government can do to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. I think everybody still fix the refineries, but then let's be realistic, it might not be possible to fix it now. Not that the refineries cannot be fixed, but fixing it now and June where subsidy will be removed, I think that we should remove the delusion from our minds. But really, what else can be done? What reasonable, realistic thing can be done to manage the situation?
I think it sees that we need to open up that importation sector. I think we need to give more licenses to people to flood the market.
I mean, that's easier to do.
But like Larry said, again, the problem in Nigeria is that you create a solution to a problem and another problem
and open the door to another problem.
But again, the reason why we're having this discussion is that we are not refining locally. Right. Look at the story of
at any price we like, because we can take advantage of the scarcity.
Refine locally, take care of our local needs and export and make more money.
We can even export refined. We can export crude and
the refined product. And there are also a lot of byproducts that we're not even talking about.
Moving on. We'll be back by 9:45 a.m. for stories in the international communities. My name is Sage Babalola. Thank you so much, Fuhad, for joining us. 9:45 we'll be back for Global View. Don't go anywhere.